Hey there, my lovelies, and welcome to my shiny and new booktube channel, the Sassy Fox. My name is V, and as you can see, we made a couple of changes from the last video. For instance, we're currently sitting on my sofa at home, so it's less gloom and doom and more sunny and friendly atmosphere. As I figured out since the last time, the subscribe button isn't up there, it's down here, and it's in the form of my fox paw. So if you enjoyed this video and if you like this video, you might as well give it a high five at the end of this video. I'd really appreciate it, and it would make my day and it would make me very happy. And the last and most significant change is I brought my friends with me. And yes, you're all my friends too, but I'm actually talking about these books, my friends. So without further ado, and before I continue to babble, let's talk about 5 authors that will get you through any quarantine or lockdown, because they actually wrote so many books that you'll never finish them before every quarantine is out. Let's jump right into it and talk about the first author, and it's Cassandra Clare. I don't know if you have read some of her books, but Cassandra Clare is very famous and popular for her Shadowhunter books. There are actually a couple of book series that are all connected to each other, and genre-wise it's in fantasy, young adult, a little bit of LGBTQ content, and it has fairies, vampires, warlocks. It's basically about a world that's parallel to ours. We live in our typical modern day world, but there's a hidden world in which all those creatures exist, and the normal mortals just don't know about them, but there are the Shadowhunters that keep it in balance and that watch out for normal humans so that they don't even touch this world. They are some sort of police that's supposed to keep those two worlds separate, the normal mortal world and the supernatural world. And the books are basically about those Shadowhunters, and they are great. I just love them. I think Cassandra Clare wrote at least 15 book series that all play in the Shadowhunter universe, and I read a couple of them. I think I read up until the Dark Artifices, but there are so much more series and so many more series of her I haven't even tackled yet. If you want to start with the series and if you're interested in it, I'd recommend to start with The Mortal Instruments, book 1 to 3, and then jump right into the Infernal Devices, which plays in 18th century London and is really amazing. It's my favorite series of hers far. And after that, you have to read The Mortal Instruments, book 4 to 6, because there's a certain timeline and there are hints to other books. So if you don't want to spoil yourself, you better read it in the right order. Just as a warning. Well, that was my first author. The second author is probably not all too much known, but I love his books and I really enjoy them. So here's Jim Butcher. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he wrote the Dresden Files and the Codex Alera series. The Codex Alera series is more like some sort of high fantasy, which plays in a fantasy world, and it's a great series with, I think it are 6 books, and I read them all. The Harry Dresden series has about 17 books, and I read about, well, this is actually the one I have to read. It's book 7, at least my library claims it is. So I got until book 7 and I enjoyed them all. Harry Dresden is in the genre of urban fantasy and magic, paranormal, mystery fiction. He's a detective for paranormal activities, and of course there are all kinds of creatures and people, and he has to do with the Fae, with vampires, with demons. Well, it's a huge variety of characters and villains he has to fight against. And aside from Harry Dresden having the same name as Harry Potter, they both actually don't have anything in common. Harry Dresden is more the rough, sexy, handsome version, and Harry Potter is more the child-friendly version, so you get the idea, right? So I really like this series, and it's great. It's really some sort of bookish snack. I love to read those books in between. And since there are 17 already, you'll never run out of reading material, or at least not for quite a while. The next book I'm going to introduce is from one of my favorite authors, Janet Evanovich. And she wrote the Stephanie Plum novels. I think by now it are already 27 books in total, and a lot of books in between. So that's quite a lot to read, and I don't think you will manage to read this in quarantine. It will take quite a while to get through all of those books. It's really a great series because it's about Stephanie Plum, who's a walking and talking disaster and lost her former job, and for lack of finding another job, she's starting to work at her cousin Vinny's bail bonds office. And being the walking and talking disaster Stephanie is, it's hilarious. Whenever she tries to bring someone into the police station, you can bet everything, literally everything, goes downhill from there. So this is a hilarious series I love to read, and I just recommend it to enjoy it in small doses, like read 1 to 3 books and then make a pause, because sometimes it gets a little bit too much. It's really hilarious, but in order to stay hilarious, you have to enjoy it in small doses. Just my opinion, to keep you engaged in it. And of course, this isn't the only series Janet Evanovich wrote. She also wrote the Fox and the O'Hare series, which I read, and the Lizzie and Diesel series. So Janet Evanovich really has a lot of books, and you'll never get through them. It will take you years to get through them, quite honestly. They're a lot of fun though, so you should definitely give them a try. The next one is something more in the middleweight genre. I wanted to keep this very open, and I wanted to introduce you to different genres. So I decided to pick 5 authors that write totally different kind of things, so that maybe every one of you will find something they're interested in. So as I said, the next book is, or the next series I'm going to introduce, is from a middle grade author, Riordan. And I jumped really late on the hype train because as a teen I actually read Harry Potter, and I think Rick Riordan's books got out a little bit later than that, so I was a little bit too old for this, which is kind of hilarious because I'm actually reading them all now, and they're even older now. It doesn't make any sense, but that's me, the walking and talking oxymoron. genre-wise, Riordan is in fantasy, mythology, middle grade. He is really great at those things, and the Camp Half-Blood books, well, there are quite a lot of them. I mean, it starts with Percy Jackson and the Olympians, goes to the Lost Heroes series, the Heroes of Olympus, and I think the Trials of Apollo also count into this, so there are about 15 books in total. And it's more child-friendly than Harry Potter. Harry Potter you can read as a kid up to book 3 or 4, and then it gets really rough and people die, and it's not that child-friendly anymore. You have to have a certain age to continue with Harry Potter after the 4th book. And with Riordan, you don't have the trouble. You can read it and give it to your kid to read because it's really funny and hilarious, and Percy Jackson is the king of sarcasm. He's really great, and it's a lot of fun to read those books. And they're all very child-friendly, and you can read them up until definitely the first 5 books of the Heroes of Olympus series, and then also the Olympians series, the original series, the 5 books of the Olympians, is really great as well. So it's really middle grade and very harmless. And last but not least, we get to a little bit less harmless. A sexy read. I don't know about you, but I love to read some of them every once in a while. You gotta read what you gotta read, right? And it's the series from J.R. Ward. She wrote a lot of Black Dagger Brotherhood books. I think there are 19 already. And they are in the genre of paranormal, vampires, erotica, and romance. If that's your jam. I don't know. I personally enjoy them. Black Dagger Brotherhood series is a great series if you love vampires and a little bit steamy. It's about a war between vampires and their enemies. And if you think Sarah J. Maas invented the word mate, well, sorry guys, it already appears in here, and every vampire in every book finds his mate. So, so much for that. It is really sexy and steamy though, so if this isn't what you like, you should stay away from it. If you do like something sexy, I can totally recommend it though. And I remember, there's actually a funny story about this. I remember asking my brother-in-law to buy the first book of this series, because back then I didn't have an Amazon account, and he bought it for me, and after that he got quite interesting advertisements on Amazon and asked me which kind of books I ordered. So, well, ever since I actually have my own Amazon account. I'm sorry, brother-in-law, for Amazon sending you those interesting advertisements. I hope they don't do it anymore. So, well, that's the story to those books. Be careful when you pick them up, they're pretty hot. This said, we're already at the ending of my recommendations. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the subscribe button and give me a high five. And if you want to see specific things or certain books or my top 10 of I don't know what, just leave it down in the comments below. Talk to me and let me know. And what else? Well, stay healthy and safe. Take care. And I guess see you around the next time. Bye.